In your second encounter with the Devourer, it helps a lot to have the Oxynite Crystal, which you can buy from Asner's store for 15,000 dogmas. It's not a requirement, but as you will see with this guide, you'll be able to maximize your damage output if you have this gem. If you have the Virtuoso DLC, according to the boss rush room, I'm assuming these are the gems that you would have at this point of the game, as well as how many skill points you should have. Don't worry though if you don't have the same gems or skill points. It will probably only make the fight a little bit longer if you have fewer than what is shown here. Anyway, let's talk about your build first. Put all your skill points into the melee side, but more importantly, like with my guide with the robot boss fight, you should get combat charge, which temporarily increases damage after dashing, as it will be very useful whenever you use the wild blade. As for the gems, the leech gem is always a good one. If you have a third gem slot, I prefer to increase my melee damage, but a higher critical strike chance or higher critical strike damage will do too. This purple gem also helps as well since it reduces the time to charge up the wild blade. In case you haven't found it, the leech gem is located here, near the throne and elevator outside the Cradle of Light. The first thing you do when you get inside the room is to climb up the wall while charging up your wild blade. When the darkness disappears and the boss shows up, dash towards it and unleash the wild blade. Use your double jump immediately afterwards and get some extra hits in on the way down. Shoot some arrows when you land to maximize your damage output. With this platform phase, I prefer to stand on this one so that I have space to dash to the right and hit the boss with the wild blade, but at the same time I'll still be able to land on a platform while not making contact with the boss. After you connect with your attack, as soon as you can, drop down to my preferred platform and then just rinse and repeat. Sometimes when the platforms haven't respawned yet, you may have to use your double jump like what I'm doing here just to ensure there's enough delay for the platforms to respawn. In between phases, maximize your damage output by throwing every arrow you can and hit the boss with the wild blade, since it will take some time before it leaves its current position. Do this as much as you can. With this phase, I will refer to the black projectiles as tadpoles once again. If you're on the left side of the boss once this phase starts, the tadpoles will spiral in a counterclockwise direction. Take note that only the red eye of the tadpoles can damage you, and you're free to touch its black tails. It is possible to deliver a lot of damage to the boss in this phase, so make sure to stay close and avoid the tadpoles by making small jumps when necessary, or using the Oxynite Crystal Shield like what I do here, then immediately going back to attack the boss. When the tadpoles are done spiraling towards the center, make your way to the opposite side of the boss since it will start summoning the tadpoles into another spiral formation, but this time it will be moving in a clockwise direction. Take note that if you go to the other side too early, it will repeat the same spiral formation that it initially does. In this case, the tadpoles would have gone to another counterclockwise direction if I went to the right side too early. With this phase, do your best to bait the projectile towards the leftmost side or rightmost side of the screen. Afterwards, don't go to the opposite end right away. Try to wait for it to fire at you when you've reached the center, and then dash away when it's about to fire. You can see in this video that I'm deliberately trying to create a delay as I move towards the center in anticipation of its projectile. After that, you can bait the projectile to fire towards a wall once again and just repeat the previous method until the phase is over. Use your shield when necessary. When it comes to this phase, just climb up the wall and stay there until it fires these lasers on the screen. Once the three eyes at the bottom appear, wait for a little while so that the lasers disappear just in time when you drop in pogo on top of the eye and then dash towards the next eye. If you can pull it off, doing a pogo on the center eye can give you enough time and space to attack upwards and deal some damage to the boss. Dash to the next eye and then do another pogo in order to climb back to the opposite wall. Repeat the same method 2 more times, and then after the 3rd time, while you're waiting on the wall, charge up your wild blade, and once the pools of red disappear, dash towards the boss and unleash the wild blade. Use your double jump to get more hits in and shoot your arrows as you fall down, similar to my instructions at the beginning of the fight. The Oxynite Crystal is the most useful for this phase. As soon as the boss positions itself on the wall, use your teleport arrows to get on top of it and just spam your pogo attacks. When the tadpoles coming from the opposite wall approaches, you can use your shield in order to maintain your pogo attacks. If RNG is on your side, you don't have to use your shield on the first set of tadpoles just like what happens in this video. Once you use your shield though, it will need time to recharge and you will have to drop from your pogo position to avoid the next set of tadpoles. After avoiding one set of tadpoles, teleport back on top of the boss and just keep on attacking and shielding accordingly. It really depends on what phase the boss does, so you may find yourself not using the Oxynite Crystal often. But if the fight goes longer for you, the gem can be very helpful for most of the phases. If this video helped you in any kind of way, consider subscribing and hit that bell icon as well, and maybe leave a thumbs up. I also stream a variety of games on Twitch, so you can check out the link for my Twitch channel in the description down below. As always, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.